Legacy. There's power in your name. Power in your name. McDonald's is a last name. Abercrombie and Fitch, last names. Armani is a last name. Baskin Robbins is a last name. Chrysler is a last name. Fisher Price, Gucci, Hennessy, Harley Davidson, Hilton, Honda, Kohl's, Kraft Foods, Lowe's Movie Theater, Marriott is a last name. Maybach is a last name. Nordstrom is a last name. Pillsbury is a last name. Porsche is a last name. Procter & Gamble, 2 last names. Rolls Royce, Charles Rolls, Henry Royce, last names. Turner Broadcast System, Ted Turner, last name. Versace, last name. Wells Fargo, Henry Wells, William Fargo, last name. Walgreens, last name. Wrigley's, last name. Welch's Grape Juice, last name. Here you are, you think you're buying a product. You are not buying a product, you're buying a name. You think you're wearing a product. Hey, look at this product. No, you're saying, look at this family. And what you don't know is while you making every family rich, you making yourself broke. So you done went to one family called Wells Fargo and got $200,000 so you can go to another family called Rolls Royce so you can give them money to get yourself a car so you can go back to the hood and see the Joneses and say, look at what I got. Meanwhile, Wells Fargo, their family's sitting up being rich, and Harley Davidsons and Rolls Royce are being rich, and the Joneses are sitting there holding up people's stuff saying, look at what we did and we broke. What if I told you that your blessing is attached to your name? That part of the reason why you're not wealthy yet is because you keep trying to make Yolanda wealthy. You keep trying to make Tasha wealthy. What if you made Johnson's wealthy? What if you started thinking about your kids? What if you started thinking about your legacy? What if God started dropping Canaan and opening up windows of heaven? Because now you're not just thinking about you, you're thinking kingdom. There are some people who are attached to you who say, Mama, can you do something with this name? There's some people who are saying, Dad, can you do something with this name? Maybe God gave you the name to change and reverse some of the stuff that the name meant one day. I wish there was somebody in this room that say my name might mean one thing right now, but I promise after today, this name's getting ready to change. I promise after today, everybody's going to want my last name. I'm here to let you know you are a curse breaker. You're thinking kingdom.
Hey, beautiful people, what's happening? What's going on? Good evening. Hope you're well and enjoying your evening. And so, what's happening? What's up? Welcome to. I was like, where am I? Okay, I'm missing something. Okay, so welcome to. What show is this? No, I'm kidding. Okay, welcome to Let's Talk. Conversations for creatives. But tonight we're gonna do something a little bit different than we usually do. So first, let's talk about what you just saw. Let's go backwards. Let's talk about shout out to my church, Life Center. Or the Life Center here in based in actually Charleston, North Carolina, with two campuses, Charleston and Charlotte. And my church just released a brand new album called From the Choir Loft, a phenomenal album. Now, anybody who knows me knows this. If it's great, it's great. It doesn't matter who it is. If I like it, I like it. If I don't like it, I just don't, I don't talk about it because I don't want to take away from someone's hard work. But definitely it's a phenomenal album. So shout out to everyone who's been supporting it. It's available on all digital platforms. I go to an amazing church, and I'm blessed to go to church with a lot of really, really phenomenal talent. And gifts like Melvin Crispell, Yolanda DeBerry, Shaniqua Taylor, Edwin Gosling. I mean, just these amazing people. Like I literally go to church with one of the founding members of Fred Hammond and Radical for Christ. So I say that because a lot of times you're in church with a lot of creative people, and sometimes the space can be very hard or, all these things. But I'm grateful we have a really great pastor, and he just loves on the people. So shout out to my church. Now, let's jump to the other music video. Shout out to one of our co-hosts here at Freedom Radio. His name is Ja'Cory Prethlow. And this week, I'm really, really excited because we're going to have a conversation with Ja'Cory, who is a music artist out of Oakland, California. Phenomenal. He's been around for a long time. He has sang with everybody. When I say everybody, I mean everybody. Dr. Bobby Jones, Kim Burrell, this and that. So we're going to interview Ja'Cory tomorrow night at 8 o'clock for Music Mondays. I'm super excited about that and some other things that are coming. Okay. Then let's talk about the video real quick. So the video I just showed you, I felt prompted to share that video again. I felt prompted to share that video with you. That was Pastor Brian Meadows. I found that message a couple, maybe like during the season of the pandemic or something of that nature. And I found it interesting. So here's my truth. I'm going to tell on myself. I did not know, you're going to say, don't tear me up, okay? I didn't actually know that all of those companies were last names. Um, like, when the movie Founder came out, that's, kind of when I personally discovered that McDonald's was really started by the McDonald brothers. Whole story within itself. I encourage any entrepreneur, creative business owner to watch that movie. It is a lot of lessons. It's a phenomenal movie. It's very well done, but it's a lot of lessons too. And so I wanted to show that because I think a lot of times we give to all of these companies, not recognizing that we're actually helping other people build generational wealth. So when you think about and I understand you have to, buy a car, you have to drive a car, or you need to wear clothes, or you want a handbag. There's nothing wrong with that. Just remember when you're doing these things, what do you want to actually sow into? Who do you actually want to give your hard-earned money to? And how is that building something else, right? So I made a confession to myself that I want to start to make sure I'm supporting more Black-owned brands. So shout out to Crystal Renee Hately, who just signed a deal with ORS hair company, and she's released a line called ORS Unapologetic. It's a whole hairline that I really want to try because first of all, I'm a huge fan of her. Second, I really believe in supporting Black-owned brands, or at least brands that are connected to amazing Black people. So just remember, when you are buying crumble cookies, okay, you are supporting. You're not just supporting the product, like he said. You're actually supporting someone's family. You're supporting generational wealth. Now, the owner of that company may or may not be in the earth anymore, but in some way, when you buy Gucci, you're supporting the family. Nothing wrong with it. Just remember where you want your dollars to go, and maybe what is your last name doing. Okay, we'll talk about that more later. So I want to do something different. I know we usually talk about music. We talk about creative things. We talk about, AI industry, all those kind of things. But I felt pressed to talk about health. So I'm honored to have a friend named Danielle. We've known each other for like ever and a day. We're both from Colorado. Tell the whole story in a second. I didn't even know she was living here in Charlotte. And I kind of want to say by accident, but I think it was on purpose, on God's part, that we started having conversations about health, and she's been helping me through my health. But I think learning about health in a totally different way. So I'm gonna bring her up, and she's gonna tell you who she is. Okay. Okay. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, and how are you?
I am good. I am good.
Good. Good, good, good. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. Let me get this together. Okay. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and being open to have this conversation about health and all the things that we think we know, but we don't know at all. Yeah, can you tell people about who you are and what you do?
My name is Danielle. I am a registered nurse by profession, but my passion now has become functional nutrition and functional medicine. And what I currently do, I still work in the medical field, in the healthcare system, but I also have my own business where I basically help coach people through putting their bodies back into the position to heal themselves. And so, as Yolanda stated, we've just kind of been going back and forth a little bit, talking about health. And so it's just become my passion to help people see the other side of just managing medication.
This is good. So can you share what actually, so how did you get here? Like let's go back. So we know each other from Denver. I don't remember the day we met. I'll tell everybody it's no shade, right? So I've known you probably since I was 12, and I've known you forever. And I met you and your family, and you come from this really beautiful background of music and ministry and all these things. How did you land in the healthcare industry?
So as long as I can remember, I wanted to be in the medical field. I actually wanted to be a pediatrician. But as I was, matriculating
Oh
in
wow.
school, and
Okay.
Yeah, as I was going through school though, and learning more and more and more about the industry, I was seeing even way back then before I recognized what God has brought me to. Even then, I was seeing a
Mm-hmm.
pattern of just chasing symptoms and being reactive instead of proactive. So I slightly started
Mm-hmm.
shifting. And so then I didn't want to be a doctor anymore. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, well, I still want to be in the field. So let me go to nursing school. So I went to nursing school. And then from there, it wasn't until I experienced a health issue myself. I came down with an autoimmune condition that I realized, okay, I don't want to do it the way I've seen it done. And so I'll tell
Mm-hmm.
you a little bit later, but that's kind of how I got into it. I've always wanted to be in the field and just been in over 30 something years. So I've been a nurse for over 20 something years, but been in and around the field for over 30.
Wow, wow. What catapulted you? Like, what made you say, this is what I'm doing is not enough?
Well, it was several years ago. I had this all over my body inflammatory response. I was swollen from head to toe. I woke
Mm-hmm.
up, face
Mm-hmm.
swollen, unrecognizable, hands swollen,
Mm-hmm.
feet swollen. It was hard to walk. And as a
Mm-hmm.
PK, and all we know is pray. I called my parents. The first thing we did was
Mm-hmm.
pray. And then at the same time, I had just finished nursing school. I had just finished nursing school and I already knew stuff was going through my mind, like, oh my God, what could this be? And I talk about it in my book. And so after that came over my body, I was just like, oh my gosh. And the Lord allowed me to see a functional nutrition. I hadn't seen really much about functional medicine, functional nutrition. And probably 2 weeks prior to that, I saw a program where you can get certified in functional nutrition and how it decreases inflammation and all this stuff. And it was no accident that I saw that and then had this reaction, because then after we prayed about it, and of course I'm trusting God, believing God, all the things, but I was like, what in the world is this? And then to be sent to the doctor, and then again, all they had was to offer me medication. We weren't trying to figure out why it happened. None of that. And I was disturbed, like, but why did this happen? And just knowing what I know about the body, I knew it was
Mm-hmm.
inflammation. And my markers were so high. And so God brought that back to my remembrance. And as I started digging more and more into it, some time went by. And then I ended up back in the rheumatology office. And that's when he wanted to start me on medication. And I told him to give me 2 weeks. I don't know why I said that, but that's what came out of my mouth. I was like, give me 2 weeks. And I went on an all anti-inflammatory diet change, lifestyle change. And within 2 weeks, all my markers were down to normal.
Wow.
Everything said yes. And so that was my first kind of proof that nutrition and lifestyle and some of the things that we can control really can impact your health. And so it just continued. Of course, the journey was longer than that, but that is what got me into the functional space. And then just seeing so many family and friends sick with different illnesses that I know can be reversed or reduced or that sort of thing. I just was like, we got to talk about this thing. So that's what got me into this field of functional nutrition and medicine.
So when people hear functional, nutritional, and medicine, what does that mean for the kids that we didn't go to medical school? So what does that actually mean?
Functional, so you have nutritionists, you have dietitians, and then you have a functional nutrition. So the functional nutritionist, we are looking at how can we use food to enhance the function of our bodies. So there are specific things that can increase um, inflammation. There are certain things that can decrease. There's certain foods that can, decrease blood pressure and, all the things that we go through. And so it's based on, our recommendations are based on the functioning of our bodies
Mm-hmm.
and all, the body parts and things and organs that are meant to work together. So that's the difference between like functional nutrition and then a nutritionist or a dietitian. Because they
Wow.
might be they might be recommending based on weight loss or you just want to eat right, or you want to do certain things. But functional, we are looking at reversal of disease and looking at putting your body in this better state of health to heal.
Why don't we hear about more? Why don't we hear about this more?
Well, for one, the insurance companies and things kind of drive the other side of that. Okay. So the healthcare system, insurance drives that. In the functional world, it's not really insurance. A lot of that stuff is out of your pocket. So, you know, the big dog, insurance companies, pharmaceuticals, all that stuff, they get a bigger, you know, audience because people can access that easier because they just show insurance and they can access it. Whereas functional nutrition, functional medicine, it's just kind of behind the times because it's not covered by insurance and people have to pay out of pocket. And so, you know, and then there's just the narrative. It's just the narrative in the world. That's not what people are taught to do. We're taught to manage with medication. We're taught to manage with medication. It's the narrative in the world. And it's not until you figure out that, you know what, I just don't want to do it this way. There's got to be something else I can do, that people start to look into alternative means. And that's where holistic and functional medicine comes into play.
So let's talk. I always tell her she doesn't have to give it all away, but I want to, when you said something, so I move, you know, I'm a creative, right? So when you say something, it's like word attaches to something. So when you say alternative ways, in today's day, we see thousands of products, right? From do it fast in 5 days to and without attacking any said product, right? We see the teas, we see the powders, we see the juices, we see the pills. And I remember one time I had a doctor in Denver that I really miss. I could have brought him with me. He was an old Asian man. And my mom was a nurse like you. And, you know, my mom was an old school nurse. And so my mom said, just take the water pills, Yolanda. You could just that. And so I remember going to the doctor and saying, my mother suggested that I take water pills. And he said, what? Why? Why would you do such thing?
Right.
And I said, well, my mom was a nurse. He said, she's wrong. Right? So, and I was like, wait, no, my mother's. He said, if you take the water pills, you're only creating a long-term problem.
Right.
Right. He said, he said, you have big hips. Nothing you can do. Right. Walk. Right. But I always say I appreciated his candidness, actually. I appreciated that. To me, you always have this discussion about they get you in, get you out. What I always liked about him, it felt like he was there just for more than the job. Yeah. He really wanted to help people. So I remember him saying, listen, you can have a cookie, you just can't have it every day, okay? There's a thing called balance. And so I said that because a lot of times there's all these fad things, right? And he said, you're going to have problems later, right? So kidney issues and this kind of issue, he said, no water pills, right? I remember going back to mom, doctor said, no water pills. She said, but what did I say? Well, actually, he has the degree. So, right? So I said that because I've never been a fat girl, right? I remember telling you that early on. Like my mom, you know, and you know, rest her soul, but you know, she tried, oh, Yolanda, let's do Weight Watchers and let's do this. Shout out to my cousin Mia, who lost over 100 pounds. And she's kept it off for quite some time. And she did Weight Watchers meals and these kind of meals. And after she lost the weight, I said, how do you feel? And that she said she had one regret, that she did it that way. If she could have done it a different way, she wouldn't have used, hey, George, she wouldn't have used the pills. Or she wouldn't have used those, you know, that type of food because of the preservatives, the sodium. So I laid that out to ask you these short-term things that people do, should they do them or should they not?
Well, and then just like you said, it's short-term, you know, and it's marketed that quick fix way because they know that's what people want. We live in this generation, this microwave generation, where we want quick results. And if you don't tell people or promise them quick results, they're typically not going to click and say, okay, I want them to know more. And so with these products, and I tell people all the time, yeah, they all work for somebody for like 30 to 60 days.
Wow.
And then what? And so that's the problem with some of these products. You either have to keep using them, or you don't end up doing what is absolutely necessary, which is changing not just your body, but your mind, the spirit. That's what we leave out. So you got this product, it might be addressing the weight loss. It might get you, some result that you're looking some type of way. But when we're talking about wholeness, when we're talking about reversing disease, when we're talking about preventing disease, that product, that pill, that quick fix is not addressing the rest of those things. And so when you look at, so that's the problem with it. And my thing is like, okay, I don't want to mention anything, but there's something real popular right now that has people losing an exponential amount of weight. And everybody's like, yes, yeah, and she lost a ton of this and all this, but it's the underlying gut issues that's happening with that product that people aren't necessarily talking about. And then, okay, say 3-4 years from now, then what? So that's the problem with, first of all, not addressing the root cause of why you have going on what you have going on, whether it's for weight loss or for high blood pressure or high cholesterol. We got to get to the root cause of it, and not just here's a quick fix, take this, it should bring it right down. But then what? Now you got side effects. And like you said, anything, just about any medication that you take long term, eventually inevitably is going to affect your kidneys, because your kidneys have to process it.
This is good. I don't want her to give it all away, because I want y'all to sign up for her program, because it's amazing.
No, we could talk.
I think this is so good. I don't want to stay in one place, but I think this is so good because it's so many of the things. So let's say the T's, right? So the concern I've always had, I feel like I have tried a little bit, but I in the back of my head, I'm always like, I want something that I can do for the rest of my life. So if I'm doing this tea, which I like tea, I'm a tea girl, but doesn't mean I have to get up and boil 6 pots of tea and drink this tea, 5 times a day, and I'm just always thinking, like you said, of the latter part, right? If you take these certain medicines, even the surgeries, are maybe not for everyone, but I know some people who've done the surgery, and what I noticed is, no slight to anyone, the habits necessarily did not change.
That's it.
They just were able to eat less. And again, it's no shame, because if you have to do whatever you have to do, but I just noticed the habits didn't change. You just are able to eat less. Or I've heard of some people who've had surgeries, and there were, like you said, there were gut issues, like something happened, or they ate too much and something busted. So again, I understand, because people have to do what they have to do. I just always wanted something long term. So again, what you said, I think a lot of times people, like you said, they don't take care of the actual issue. So I just want to talk about my own self. As I've been sharing with Danielle, we were at lunch one day, and I feel like fell into the health conversation. And I was like, I just really want to do this. I didn't even know that she was functional nutrition. I didn't even know. And as more we started talking, I was like, well, no one really knows. Like, they gave me high blood pressure. She was like, oh my God, no, I can't believe. And I was like, yeah, I don't really know what to do. And I just want to say this publicly, because I've heard all my life how Black people are treated in the medical field. I never honestly thought that I would experience that. And so certain things are happening, and they're just like, oh, it's because you're big. Huh? It can't be another reason? Like, this has to be the result. Again, I'll be transparent. I've always had, I don't know, Facebook. My cycle has always been off since it started, the day it started. And so recently I've tried to understand what's going on, right? I went to the doctor. I said, this has been an ongoing problem. It's like I come in, they talk about it, and then there's this little fix, and then it kind of doesn't go unsolved. So I remember I was in a doctor's office with a older Caucasian doctor, and he said, well, it's probably the weight. So I was telling my mom, I said, well, long before she passed, I said, the concern is, it was like this when I started. So it can't be weight, right? And you say, well, long as what's had to do with health, because it's an example of how they just give you something or how they just push you off. So let's fast forward. I'm getting ready to go on tour, and I tell the doctor I'm concerned because I know, certain foods won't be available to me. And the way the doctor said, I remember I was like, oh, I should have told Danielle all this before I left. And I remember telling, and it was like, he just like, oh no, you'll be fine. It's no problems. And I'm trying to prevent a problem. I go to the doctor again. They check me, and she's helped me understand this even about blood pressure. You can walk in, and in real life, your pressure is not actually high. You're just nervous, or you were rushing, or these things. And it's like, it's high. Okay, let's up your doses. Huh? And I remember she saying, no, stay the dosage that you're at, and let's see if we can get that down. So can you talk a little about how, like, we can advocate for ourselves in this field?
So one thing is we have to educate ourselves a little more, okay? And then be in touch with somebody that's on the functional side, somebody that is on the alternative side, because doctors aren't going to be on the same page necessarily, because this is not what they've been taught. They weren't required to take nutrition in med school. It was an elective. Okay, so you can go in and say, hey, doc, like, when's the last time a doctor said, well, go home and try this, and this first, and then we'll get on it. So it's more of advocating for yourself. So if you have something going on, ask as many questions as possible. Go home, don't Google stuff, but try to learn more about what you got going on. Again, working with somebody in the functional field was really the answer, because they have other ways, other things that you can ask the doctor, other things that you can go back and dialogue with. But it's after one time you had your blood pressure was high, after 2 times your blood pressure was high, and then they want to put you on medicine, that's the time where it's like, okay, well, can I just go home and try this alternative way? That literally happened to me like 2 months ago with my blood pressure. My blood pressure has always been normal, and it's been fine, but for whatever reason, it spiked. Well, I know the reason now, but at the time I didn't know the reason. But I was getting ready to go out of the country, so I was like, what is going on? I wasn't feeling good. My eye was red. Something had happened. Like, I was like, what happened? So I go in. I didn't see my regular doctor, but he sees the pattern of my blood pressure being low. And I even told him, I was like, I can't believe my blood pressure was, is this high. I was like, it's always been low. He was like, yeah, I see that here. He was like, but it's okay. He was like, with your age and your race, he said, it can be normal that your blood pressure goes up. And he was like, and we can just start you on a little mild dose. And I'm just like sitting there looking at this man like, this is literally the first time I've come in here and my blood pressure is high. You already want to put me on something? So the point is, you need to advocate. Ask questions. When you go to the doctor, figure out why the blood pressure was high. Was it life? Are you stressed? Are you sleeping? Did you go in there after almost getting run off the road? Are you cold? Do you have to pee? Like, these are all things that can raise your blood pressure. So do you have white coat syndrome? Are you nervous?
Wow.
You got to explore that. And so in terms of high blood pressure, leave that office, get you a blood pressure cuff, learn how to monitor it yourself at home. And then you need to monitor it. And if it's still high day after day and you don't have all these external things going on, then again, you need to talk with someone, either on the functional side, or now we need to have a discussion. But in terms of just going into the doctor, him seeing it high, and then here's some blood pressure medication, that's just too soon. When did we get to explore what might be going on? You know what I'm saying? So, but I don't recommend not doing nothing. So you're either going to take the medicine or you're going to seek the alternative, but I don't want you to not do nothing.
This is good. So we talked about some of the things that can happen. What are some preventions that people want to better their health, right? They've been eating McDonald's, which has 19 ingredients. Okay, so so we tell you about McDonald's, y'all. So me and Danielle talking one day, right? And I don't know, I ate something I shouldn't eat. And that was the other thing I've learned through her, right? You think you're eating something healthy, but you're not. And so now, thanks to Danielle, and I don't know if I mean that in a good way, I'm buying things now, and I'm like, it's like she's on my, not in the bad way, because she doesn't fuss at me, although she probably should. It's like I have a little Danielle on my shoulder, and I'm buying, so it's like, no, look at the bag. And I'm like, I can't even pronounce these things.
See?
Oh my God. I was literally in Starbucks this week, right? I love Starbucks. I'm sitting in Starbucks. I go to the counter. I'm telling little Danielle, it was like, no. And I just walked away from the counter. I didn't get nothing, right? So I walk up to 7-Eleven. I'm not really a pizza girl. I eat pizza one time a year when I'm overseas. And I walked in. I don't know how to say this publicly. And there was a larger man standing, and I said, "Really, Jesus? That's how you feel?" Okay. I just walked out. I was like, "What do I do?" But I think I say that because I've become more aware. Someone said, "Yolanda, you losing weight?" I don't know, but to be honest with you, but I think now I've become more aware. I'm more cognizant. So we were having this conversation one day, and I think I said something about McDonald's, and she was like, "McDonald's fries have a gazillion ingredients." We went online. I was just shocked. So in 1959, McDonald's, crazy. In 1959, McDonald's fries had literally 3 to 4 ingredients. The fries, the potatoes, of course, oil, like a beef type oil. It's an oil, but it's like this beef type oil, salt, and maybe one other thing. Now, McDonald's fries, no lie, you can look it up online. They have 19 ingredients. And so now I'm serious. I can't even look at the fries the same, because I'm like, why all these ingredients? And what should be also very well noted is only in the States.
Right.
McDonald's in other countries like Europe and things like that, regulation wise, they can't even add those things. It's 100% prohibited. So I love to know what we can do. Like, if someone wants to come to you and say, "I want to talk about my health," what are realistic things that people can do? And why should they come to you? Like, can they just do it on their own? Can they go on YouTube like y'all do everything else? Can they do that? Or should they get someone in their life, a part of their health regimen that can understand these things?
Well, first of all, I truly believe the narrative has to change. So if you have someone who wants to get healthy, wants to reverse disease, wants to reduce disease, or wants to prevent disease, I recommend you work with someone, because it's not just okay, here, look this up online and then follow it. Could you do that? Absolutely. Yeah. But when we talk about what I focus on with the people that I work with, I focus on the whole person. So we are talking about the mind, we're talking about the spiritual stuff, and I can't even begin to get into the spiritually rooted stuff. That stuff you can't look up online. So yes, you could look up what to eat, the diet plan. I mean, AI can tell you, what should I eat? I'm trying to lose however many pounds, and it can give you a rundown. But who's addressing the mind, the mindset, and the spirit? That's the stuff that we need to get up under, because, and I'm just going to go here real quickly. When we talk about spiritually rooted disease is about 80% of all diseases have a spiritual root. Wow. About 80% of them. And so when you hear stuff like from the medical field where they're talking about, well, there's no cure, we don't know why it happened, it runs in the family, all the things, all the stuff that the medical field can't explain, it has a spiritual root. And that's why they can't explain it. The natural can't explain the spiritual. And so there's the spiritual root. And because 80% of the diseases have a spiritual root, that has to be addressed. Otherwise, if you look at it like this, you have the root, okay? And the root is sin, trauma, whatever that might be. That's the root of the disease. Then you have the fruit, okay? That's the actual disease. So you have the root, where it came from, the sin, then you have the fruit. You can cut off the fruit, okay? You can fix that, but the root is still there. What happens when you still have a root? It can
It
come
grows
back.
again.
It grows back. And so if you don't address the root cause of what it is, I just got to go here as well. Because like I said, I'm a PK, grew up in the church, trust God all day. I still pray, still trust God for healing, believe that does not waver. But I tell people all the time, now we need to be praying about not only healing, but Lord, what is the root? Where did it come from?
Absolutely.
He can heal you. He can heal. He can. He will. But a lot of times as we find ourselves still walking through, waiting for the manifestation of it, it's because these other things need to be addressed.
Absolutely.
So yeah, absolutely. You could say, hey, I just want to eat this. You can begin to just eat better. But if you need to dig deeper, you definitely need to work with someone to help walk you through that and help, guide you in the other ways to get healthy. Because even like you said, you and I, we talk about reading labels and all that kind of stuff. There's so much in the food. There's so many people that think they're eating right.
So much.
They think they're eating right. So it is a lot. It's a lot. And there's so much conflicting information until you got to have somebody in your corner that you can, like all people do to me. They just text me the back of an ingredient list. Is this good? Is this good? Can I use this? Can I do that? Because it's a lot. So you really need somebody.
It's the way. It's the way it's labeled, right? So I'll give an example of something she told me. So a lot of people do, I used to work at Popeyes when I was a teenager. So me and soda being, disconnected, right? So, but I like to have, sometimes I like to have those like sugar-free drinks sometimes, right? Like electrolytes, right? So one day I was like, oh, I'm doing a good thing, baby. And she was like, no, that's sugar. I was like, what? Just anything with Tros. Do this. And I'm like, because it's the way it's labeled. Shout out to my hairstylist, Justin. So it's in all markets. It's like, you pick up this bottle, it's all marketed with African flags. He's like, that ain't for us. It just looks like it's for us. It's not for us at all. Right. And the same thing I think happens in the health industry, right? They market these products a lot. I don't know everything. I know some products don't have to be like FDA, And so you look on the back of the thing and you can't read like 90% of that. I remember when this whole like Beyond Meat thing happened, right? No shade to anybody who's eating it. But I remember seeing an Instagram post where a guy was standing in the middle of the store. He had the holding the meat up. He started reading the back of the label. He said, why would you want to eat this?
Right.
You can't pronounce 60% of the things on the back of this label. Why would you put this in your body? And I thought, my God. So I agree with it. I think we're afraid a lot of times to challenge the narrative. I know everybody's like, I can't believe you talking about this, because then I've become more loud about these things, because I tell Danielle, for years I was shamed. Not only ashamed, but I was shamed. I would go to a restaurant. I've been working at this for a long time. And I would go to a restaurant. I don't drink tea. Thank you, Japan, for that. I mean, I don't drink sweet tea. So thank you, Japan, for that. So everybody's like, you don't want the sugar? No. What? Yolanda, she don't ever want the right. She don't ever want that. Yolanda wanted, but no, she going to be difficult. No, I'm just trying to find a way to enjoy this meal without all the stuff. Right. So a lot of me and her and I talk about that, how a lot of us are shamed. And shout out to my producer, James Brown, who said something to me. Again, sometimes I think these seeds have to be planted. And some, like, saying maybe take out something to put something else there. And he said that, what's amazing about us is we have a funeral. We bury Uncle John. He died of a heart attack. And then we eat the same food that killed him. I have never seen repasts the same. And it's no judge, because I get it. We eat in celebration. That's how we celebrate. That's how we heal. That's how but a lot of times the food we're eating is just not good. Yeah. And then we shame people tell them, I've been shamed so many times. We shame people because there's not enough on your plate. Do you see these hips? How much you want on this plate? I'd love for you to share about, is it a cultural thing? Like why do you think we, if I could say, treat each other like that? Like, okay, there's not enough here. You need more on your plate. Or why don't you, I just always think it's interesting that we shame people who lose weight. We shame people who are seeking to build better, who are treating themselves better. And then we're looking at you on the other side and your health is not good. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not sure. And I'm not, and really it's got to be a them issue. If they feel they have to shame you.
Wow.
That's something that's them. But if we could, again, change the narrative, we got to get to a point where that doesn't even matter if somebody does. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. Why would you? Because I was shamed. I hadn't always been smaller all my life. And if I didn't eat right, I have the propensity to maybe be larger than I am. But I was shamed when I was bigger, and I was shamed when I lost weight. I feel
Really?
too. Yeah. I would go to stuff. Well, she ain't gonna eat nothing. Danielle, you want to, or she's not gonna eat that. And I'm just like, why? Like, why? I'm not bothering nobody. I ain't saying nothing. Like, what? Why you gotta pull me out there? Throw me out there like that. I don't know. It's like I can't explain that part. But my thing is, hey, I want to be healthy, so it don't matter what you think. That's their issue. That's something I can't even. Yeah, that's them issue.
Absolutely. I think with your health, this is always my truth. I made a pretty big decision about a year ago. And I remember sitting in a hotel crying. I just couldn't believe that I made this decision, but it was the first time I made a decision that affected my livelihood, actually, to advocate for my health. And I remember calling Danielle. I was like, I just can't believe I did it. Oh my God. But at the same token, I was so proud of myself because I felt like nobody is going to work harder for me than me. And if I want to live to be 100 plus years old, that means I have to make decisions that are just not popular.
Yeah.
And people are not going to agree. So in that, I say, I agree with you. I've had to just be okay with it. I was somewhere one time, they say, Yolanda, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Mm-hmm. I don't need everything that's up there. I can have a little taste, a little bit of that, and I'm okay. So I certainly agree that you can't allow people in any area of your life to allow people to make you feel some type of way because you're choosing better for yourself. You're staying you're going to the gym, or you're eating, this or that, or you don't want the cake, or you don't want the greens with the pork rinds and the grease, and just you can do better. And I applaud that. I applaud that. So in this process, you have written a book.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about your
book. So it's about my journey going through the autoimmune condition, because again, growing up, I believed and I wanted and I expected and I stood on, okay, I want instant healing. Okay. Didn't happen that way for me. That miraculous on the spot healing didn't happen. Okay. God is sovereign. He can do what he wants to do. But what happened was he allowed me to walk through the journey to get to the manifestation. And during this journey was where he continued to show me different things. And so that's where, again, I found functional nutrition. I talked about how I found functional nutrition. I talked about how I had to address the mind. Okay. My mindset and all the things going on, the emotional part of that. And then I had to address the spiritual. I had to debunk the myth that this stuff runs in your family. That's another big thing, because when I first went in there, the first thing the doctor was saying was, is there anyone in your family that has rheumatoid arthritis or lupus or that sort of thing? Because that was the road he was going down. And, I'm trying to think. I went back, asked my mom and dad, and so at that time, I wasn't in the functional space. So, and that's what first thing they ask. They want to know if it runs in your family. But as I went through this journey, what I recognized is, because the more research and stuff I began to do, things like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, and even some cancers, they only have about a 40 to 60% chance of it coming from genetics.
Wow.
Diabetes was only like 30%. There was nothing over 60% that comes from genetics. And this is what I learned about what's called epigenetics. So epigenetics is something, it's the environment, it's the things, the external things that come into play that turn on a gene. Just a quick science lesson. We have these genes, but genes have to be turned on. Something has to happen for the gene to be turned on. So even if you are in that 30%, something has to happen. External factors have to happen. The sedentary lifestyle have to happen. Bad diet has to happen. Whatever environment you are in to happen for that gene to be turned on. So we're walking around expecting stuff to happen just because you see mama had it, daddy had it, grandma had it, all the things. No, you did not have to have it necessarily. Even if the gene is in your body, it turned on. So what happens is we are carrying around generational habits, generational trauma, that is what's turning on these genes. Not the fact that it's there, it has to be turned on. Something had to happen. So that was also something that, again, the Lord allowed me to find out through the journey. And then once I addressed the spiritual part, it was a done deal. That's when the manifestation of my healing happened. And so that's why I wrote the book, Healing Revealed, because it took me, how many people are around praying and waiting for the manifestation of healing? It has nothing to do with God's sovereignty and his ability to heal. But I think where we miss out is we need to pray for healing and steward our health.
Yes, ma'am.
Pray,
absolutely.
Trust, believe, and it's not a but, because initially in my mind, I got to be honest, it felt like I was doing it for him. And so the enemy wanted me to think that I wasn't trusting God. I'm doing it myself. If you go and do all this stuff and you're doing all that, are you really trusting God? That was a thought that came to my mind. But God showed me, because what we do in the natural is stewardship. And then when you look at faith without works, I pray, I'm believing, I'm trusting. Here's the faith. Where's the works? The works is the stewardship.
This is good.
So that's the reason why I wrote the book, because I'm like, people need to recognize there's too many people sitting around praying, waiting, and sitting around. Because if he doesn't do it miraculously, because he can choose however you do it, he doesn't miraculously. He obviously wants you to see something. There's something else you need. Something else has to.
That's
because
good.
even if God heals you physically, God wants you whole. He don't want to just. He don't want to just heal the physical body. He wants you whole. So perhaps he's allowing you to sit in that until you finally get to a point where everything else is addressed. So that's why I wrote the book, because I'm like, oh, wow. The healing was revealed. It was revealed like, oh.
Wow, this is powerful. I want to make sure that people know where they can grab your book. So is this correct? They can grab your book from your website, thebetterchoicehealth.com. So I'm going to leave this up. If you're interested, which you should be interested, right? Somebody asked me, y'all don't talk about health and wealth. Well, health is wealth, right? You can't. I saw something last night on TikTok, and someone asked a woman a question. Would you rather be rich and unhealthy, or would you rather be healthy, but you're not rich? She said, I'd rather be healthy because then I can go get the money. And I thought, oh, the simple answer to me, because you can have, we see this every day. I just want to point this out. This is just my thought. It's not her. You can have all the money in the world. I keep telling people this. Yes. Yes, God doesn't want you to be broke. Okay. But you can have all the money in the world and be sick. And all the money doesn't actually help you get well. We see it right now with huge artists and actors and things, and they have all the money, more money than most of us can ever count. but it doesn't remove having diabetes or having Alzheimer's or,
You can't enjoy
having some
it.
immune.
You
Can't
can't
enjoy
even
it.
enjoy the wealth.
No,
Not
no,
healthy. Yeah.
no. So I love that we're having this conversation. I don't want to keep you long, but I love that we're having this conversation because I don't think it's had enough in
Mm-hmm.
my truth. I think but I told Danielle when I first started, my biggest concern was I didn't want to be an unhealthy artist. Right. I
Mm-hmm.
want to live to be a old woman. And
Mm-hmm.
then I just saw that in my particular community, not just the Black community, but the entertainment industry, particularly gospel, we're
Mm-hmm.
just, and I'm sorry, y'all, but these are truths. We're getting better. I do applaud us because we're getting better, but we just weren't healthy. You get on the road, you singing somewhere, it's late, you are hungry, but
Mm-hmm.
they feed you the barbecue, it's just a lot of everything. And
Mm-hmm.
there's no one time I was somewhere and I said, there's just no green, nothing. Like nobody wanted to make green beans or, a salad with some carrots.
Right.
And I just thought this is so interesting. And then a lot of our heroes, music heroes, they pass long before they should.
Yeah.
Long. This is in all due respect. One of my favorite people's walk is Thomas Whitfield. I
Mm-hmm.
did
Mm-hmm.
not know that Thomas Whitfield was under 40 years old when he passed
Yes.
away.
Right.
And I thought,
Yeah, he's like 30 something. Yeah.
yeah, he was like 38, 30,
It was
between
5. I thought
34 and
it
38
was
years
5.
old.
Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah,
35.
like 35 years old. And I
Mhm.
thought, first of all of this greatness, all of this goodness, all of this everything long before his time. And I just thought, how can if number one, we terribly avoid the conversation, right? But like you said, we're a lot of times not seen. We're going to the doctor, we're not seen. And don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, because I think the doctor can do his part, but you do have to do yours. And I
Absolutely.
highly agree with Danielle. I'm saying I'm not disagreeing because she's my friend. I agree with common sense. I highly agree. We
Mm-hmm.
believe God, but it's like we want him to come down and just do it all. TD Jakes has a saying, God doesn't build chairs, he makes trees.
Hmm.
So he's not going to come off the throne and make you get up and go to the gym.
Right.
He gave somebody the idea and concept to
Mm-hmm.
create a gym, but it's up
Mm-hmm.
to you to get up, do the thing. And I agree with that. We want all these results. And I'm in the boat too. We want all these results without
Mm-hmm.
doing the work,
Mm-hmm.
right? You just can't eat, I don't know, fries every day.
Right. And I think the misconception is that you have to eat grass. That's the first thing people
Yep,
say.
yep,
Well,
yep,
what am I
yep,
going to eat?
yep,
Carrots, grass. You and I have talked,
yep.
and we've been working together with our group, and there are a lot of choices.
A
You just
lot of
there's a
choices.
lot of choices. There's a lot of
A
things we
lot of
can
choices.
do. A lot of conversions we can do with the recipes. It's just knowing what to look for, and so you just got to give that alternative uh, lifestyle a chance, if you will. You got to learn it, because once you do, now you can have health for life and not the
Health for
quick
life.
stuff. Health for life. That's what it's about. Because our bodies are designed to heal. They're miraculous. You hear me talk about this
Yes.
all the time. Our bodies are designed. Our liver, our kidneys, our gut, our brain, they all regenerate in some form of fashion when given the right stuff, when given
Mm-hmm.
rest, when given the right food, when you have the right hydration, when you have, decreased stress and all the things, then those organs can heal the way they were designed to heal. God
Mm-hmm.
designed them to heal.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to do our part in making sure that we fuel them the right way. So
Yeah, and you do feel better.
yeah,
And you
it's
feel better. This is the truth. The more you do it, I remember there was a season, I've been working this for a while. It was a season where I just threw it all out. I just came to Camden one day and I was just like, cool, I threw it all out. It was taco season specifically.
mm,
And when I went back to my taco season, maybe let's say 6 months later, I remember thinking this just doesn't taste well. Like why does this taste funny? And it was the first time I noticed that taco seasoning had sugar in it.
yep,
And I had never tasted the sugar before then, right? Because I had been without it for so long. So I think the other thing is you feel like you're missing out, but the truth is you're really not. And grass is not, I mean, not real grass, but like lettuce and grass per se, it's really not a bad thing. You just you feel like you can't be without the fried chicken. You feel like you can't be without the ham, or you can't be without. I remember when I was a season where my mom used to cook with, I was a country girl, so my mom was definitely cooking greens with probably 1 minute of sleep with ham. Oh, she needed no sleep. Okay, she could just make them like it was nothing. But she used to use ham hocks. And so as I was growing, which I think is, I always say I've been on this journey for a long time. One day I said, Mom, I think you should stop using ham hocks. Now, Yolanda, I've been using these since I was I said, but I don't think it's healthy. Let's try it while you open. So at first she just totally refused. And my mom, she was this beautiful woman. She wasn't like a thick girl, but the inside didn't necessarily equate to the outside. And it took a while. But one day she said, "Oh, I don't want them. I want the turkey necks." I said, "Oh my God." It took a while because I think she felt the taste was different. But too, my mom grew up in the country. And so in the country, you raised your own animals. The food was totally different than it is today.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty big difference. So before we wrap up, do you mind sharing like the lemon water thing? Do you mind sharing a couple of tips that people can start like tomorrow?
Sure.
Oh,
Absolutely.
and I want you to talk about your Monday restart.
My Monday restart?
How you would always restart on Monday.
Yeah. That was another thing that finally got me to that place, because I would start over every Monday. Like I'd eat well, and then the weekend I would totally blow it. And then I'd be like, oh, well, I'll just start over Monday. And I would do just that repetitive cycle until it got to a place where my body was like, again, what led to the condition that I was dealing with.
Wow.
But some of the things that you can start doing tomorrow, just first of all, sleep. Y'all get some rest. Sleep is imperative. That is another time when your body heals. The other thing is lemon water, bringing lemon water into your life. Okay. Every morning, cup of warm water and squeeze, probably 2 to 3 tablespoons of lemon juice in there, and just gulp that down. That helps the digestive system, that supports the liver. Okay. And then it just catapults your day. Before coffee, before anything else, drink some lemon water. So that's something simple that helps with decreasing inflammation. Okay. And that's another thing. The other thing is move. We got to move. Just be very intentional about doing some walking. Those are some basic things that you can do that's free, that you don't need no other help with, but there's some things that can catapult and help train your body. Like, okay, because walking is good for your circulation. It's good for your respiratory system. It's good for the brain. Okay, it gets the lungs up and out. Okay, so that is good for your heart as well. Something as simple as walking. So those are just a couple of things that you can start doing tomorrow to just get that body back into a better state.
Now go the other way. What are 3 things that people should seek to remove or try to remove? Say like this your last day to do this. What's some things that people should seek to remove?
Bad oils, the fried foods, the processed foods, and sugar. Okay. But you got to be careful with the sugar-free options. It's really about cooking and eating whole foods. Okay. Cooking, eating whole foods, but getting rid of sugar and then watching out for those fake sugars. So you got to ditch the sugar-free sodas and the sugar-free stuff too, because what those have in it are the fake sugars: sucralose, dextrose, lactulose, maltodextrin. That whole oats family is out. All them oats, they're all fake sugars, maltodextrin, all this stuff. They're worse than sugar. So if you're going to just have some sugar, go and have the sugar. Don't get the 0 sugar one. Just go on and have the sugar if it has the fake ones. And then the bad oils, okay? Canola, vegetable oil, palm oil, all those are bad oils. The only three oils that you should be using: coconut oil, olive oil, and avocado oil.
Oh, this is good. Shout out to Instagram. Jerry and him, my longtime friend Jerry is watching. My longtime entrepreneur friend Terrell is watching, and you can't see these comments, but they're saying this is great information. Thank you so much. This is helpful. Yeah, I think this is good because again, for a long time we've been sold this dream that you can. I saw something the other day. You can do it in 5 days. I'm like, so you can lose 30 pounds in 5. Isn't that bad? But I now have a different take. I have a different view, and I think along the way, I just always feel like there's been these seeds from the Asian doctor to this over here, just like, hey, no, there's no such thing as quick results. You really have to work at this. It has to become a lifestyle. Otherwise, you'll just, and again, no shade. Otherwise, you'll have the surgery and you'll gain all the way back. Otherwise you'll do the pills, either shots and nothing changed because your habits didn't change or your root didn't change. You end up back in the same place. Danielle, this has been incredible. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Of course. I'd love for you to have some final words and share anything that you think is the most important thing people should know when it comes to their health.
Okay. The most important thing is, again, change your mindset about what the medical field is there for. The medical field, which I call the sick care system, I don't even call it the healthcare system. It's the sick care system. It's there to get you out of trouble. It's there if you need them, but they are not there to help you maintain your health. That has to be done outside of the sick care system. Wow. So I'm saying fire your doctor. I'm not saying stop taking pills. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is, in addition to what you're doing now, look also on the outside of that for the alternative method, which will breed long-term actual health. Okay, that is what you should do. And again, it seems like hard and long and drawn out. No, I want quick results, but it's actually easier than you think it is once you get into it and make it happen. And so again, change the narrative. That's not what they're there for. We have to take charge of our health because they don't care. They don't care. And nobody's going to tell you. And that's not from a place of, I probably shouldn't have said it like that. They are not going to be concerned with what you do when you walk outside those four walls of the house.
No, ma'am.
And honestly, they're not responsible for what happens. So take charge of your health. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask someone, okay, what can I do to X, Y, Z? Because there is a lot of information out there. So get that person that you trust. If you want to reach out to me, I'd love to talk to you about how to, how can I start to begin to turn this thing around? And know that you were designed to heal. God designed you that way. So don't settle for this life of managing medication and managing symptoms. Don't settle for that. You were designed to heal. There's almost no disease that cannot be improved with diet and lifestyle changes.
This is good. You were designed to heal.
And then most of them can be reversed. So don't settle. Let's talk about it. Let's learn about it. Like it's our responsibility. It's our responsibility. You deserve it. Your family deserves it. Your children deserve it. Your children's children. This is generational health. Generational health. It's not just for you. It's not just for you. Think of your lineage. Not just for you. So don't settle.
This is good. I like to add to her thought, and don't be afraid to advocate for yourself. So I can say this because I'm not in the medical field. I'm firing my doctor. I told my dad, I said, I'm firing my dad. My dad said, how you? I said, because I just don't feel seen. I feel like you just kind of push me off. I'm not a hypochondriac. I don't come here to buy. My parents are in the medical field. I really honor this field. And so I don't play with it. If I'm coming to your office, I like people in your office, but If I come here, it's because something, we're concerned or updated, whatever. And I know it's like, I've never heard her talk like that, but I want to live a long time. And through Danielle, I give her a lot of, I'm very grateful because I don't know if she did it on purpose or maybe unknowingly, she's helped me to stand up for myself. She's helped me to advocate for myself in this area because it wasn't an area that I ever recognized I had to advocate for myself in.
Right.
I never recognized literally until the particular office I go to, the previous doctor left, which I always say this guy was amazing. He was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, let's wait your blood pressure, okay? If I can get you to go walk like you sing, then maybe we could." He was really advocating,
Yeah.
and when he moved to another facility, and this other doctor came, and I felt safe. I thought, "Oh, this is just my truth. He's black. He looked like Hulk Hogan. Okay, this is gonna be." And I was like, "Wait a minute,
Right.
um." Okay. By third or fifth time, I'm walking out the office feeling a little defeated.
Mm.
And the only thing that saves it is the people, the staff in the office is so nice. And I
Mm.
thought, oh man, this is a problem. So I first thank you so much again for coming in and sharing. I want to publicly say thank you to you.
Okay.
I just don't know if you realize how much you've helped me advocate for my life and from being at the table and y'all eating, like everything, and I don't want it, and I don't have to feel to say I don't want it, or
Right.
to thinking or being in a grocery store and literally picking up something and just, I may be a little sad when I put it back, but I understand that it's not the best choice, or just making better choices, or understand that if I make this choice, then I gotta do this, do that. I really thank you so much for wanting to help the Black community, for wanting to
Yeah.
have hard conversations. And this program that we're in with her, which has been amazing. I'm like, we really deal with some real things
Some real
that are
stuff.
connected to our health.
Connect
Man, the
with
trauma or
trauma.
feeling overwhelmed or I don't have time, so I just pick this up and there's so many things connected to that we don't even realize are connected to that. It's just I'm very grateful for you, Danielle. I really, really am. Yeah,
Appreciate
man,
that.
I'm just grateful that you've stepped into my life in this way, in the lives of others. Y'all keep hearing me, because I'm telling you, you don't realize how it feels until I've never been on medication in my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody knows me, I've been a girl for a long time. Never have I been on medication.
Mm-hmm.
So the devastation I felt when the doctor gave me the medication with no instructions. Zero. He just put it at the pharmacy. And I remember I came back and I felt a little Danielle on my shoulder, like, you can say something. I said, you just gave me the medication with no instructions. He said, oh, I said, what? I don't know what to do. I know to open the bottle, you know, but am I supposed to take with this food, without food? How? He was like, oh, yeah, you've never had anybody say that to you. So thank you so much for helping us to advocate for ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
to stand up for ourselves, to know that we deserve to live long and
Mm-hmm.
loud and proud. And it doesn't have to be perfect. We don't
Mm-hmm.
have to be a size 5. We don't
Right.
have to look like this
No.
person. It's really more so about making sure the inside
Mm-hmm.
feels as good as the outside, really. So I
Absolutely.
appreciate you. If you're interested, which you should be interested. Let me say this. Not if you're interested, you need to be interested. And you can reach out to her at The Better Choice Health, men and women. She's a girl, but men and women. And she has testimonies on the health and all the things she's doing. So thebetterchoicehealth.com. And
Mm-hmm.
you can also find her on Instagram at The Better Choice Health, right? Is that correct?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And yeah, this has been a great conversation, Danielle. I'm appreciative.
Good. No, I thank you and I appreciate it. I just want people to understand there's a better way. And so I'm glad to be here and help anybody in any way possible.
This is good. This is good. So again, you can reach out about her book. Tell us about the book one more time so they know what the book
Okay.
is.
Yeah, it's called Healing Revealed. Healing Revealed. And you can go to my website at thebetterchoicehealth.com and you can purchase it there. And then it'll be out to you quickly. And if you did, just let us know too, if you want to set up a time to just chat, free consultation, and just see if the program that I have is something right for you. You can also reach out and let us know, and we can go from there. Free consultation, so we can just begin to see if this will work for you.
And you don't have to be near her. So you can't say, well, I'm
Yes.
not near that. You can't use that. We're in 2026. So you don't have to be near her. You can do this virtually. We live in the same space, but I don't always get the opportunity to see her. But you can do this virtually. You don't have to be in the same space, same city, same town.
Speaking of which, I'm also getting ready to do a reset for just men because I see the disparity in our Black men with this high blood pressure, stroke, all that
Mm-hmm.
situation, their testosterone levels, ED, prostate stuff going on. And so I'm getting ready to start a reset for men coming up here in May. So if you are a man that is dealing with those issues, want to prevent, reverse, reduce, any of that sort of thing, you can let us know, reach out, because I'd love to help walk along that journey with you, because we need our men. We need you. We need you, men.
Absolutely. Here's my last throw out. And you should invite her to your church. You know that you're a pastor and you've been thinking about, let me tell you what you should replace. I gave this idea to a pastor once and I'm going to give it out again for free. Instead of doing a Sunday night musical, we love music, amen. But instead of doing the musical, come, pray, do a scripture, and invite Danielle to your church. And let's talk about health. So
Mm,
the worship leaders can live longer. So you
mm,
as the pastor can live longer. That's real deal. We can shout and praise all day. I want to. We should. But you, unfortunately, you don't do that for 45 minutes. Okay, you're not shouting for 45 minutes. Okay, per se, your feet ain't hitting the floor for 45 minutes. So that means you need somebody that understands this and can talk to us and understands our community. All right.
mhm.
So if you're a pastor, you're a leader, you're a business owner, you want to, I think this should be a part of your conference or your event.
Wow.
Because she knows what she's talking about. She's not just talking. She is certified. She has a degree. She understands it, and I think this would be a beautiful thing to add to what you're doing. Right. All right.
Thank
So
you.
Danielle,
God
thank you,
bless.
thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Yes,
appreciate it.
ma'am.
Appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. For you.
All
Bye.
right. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye. All right. We're not gonna be here long. We're gonna be strong. All right. So you had the conversation. You know what you can do. You can reach out to Danielle at thebetterhealthchoice.com. Now listen, in all truth, okay? You get one life and you have to live that one life to the best of your ability every single day. We are not cats. We do not get to fall off buildings, climb trees, and all those kind of things, and then try it again. So we are not superhumans, even though y'all know I like superheroes. That's not what we are, right? So you would get one life, and you have to take care of that one life to the best of your ability every single day. I am not perfect at it. So if you see me somewhere, probably eating Reese's Pieces, do not judge me. I'm in process, okay? But I am serious about living a long time. And the only way that you can do that is to be cautious, to be aware, and to take care of the body that God gave you, right? So if you're a believer, He gave you a temple, and it's your responsibility to take care of it. You say, I don't believe all that Jesus stuff, then cool. But it's still your responsibility to take care of the body that you were given, wherever you believe it came from, okay? Please be more cognizant so you can live a long time, so you can do all the things you were created to do, and you can leave the world empty and healthy. Wouldn't that be something? If you lived, one of my favorite actors is Dick Van Dyke. He just turned 99, 100 years old, and for the most part, he's a clean bill of health. Wouldn't that be amazing for you? And then you're not leaving the world sick. You're not leaving the world with disease, any of those things. All right, so it's your choice. You can do it. Visit the Better Choice Health. Sorry, the betterchoicehealth.com. I want y'all to have a wonderful night. Have a great, great week. Don't let anything get you down. You have the choice. As the song says, you have the power to change your situation. Change your situation. Good night.